Greetings fellow gorehounds and welcome back to another Blood Splattered vlog. Now before we begin with this week's review, I want to first talk about a couple minor changes I'm going to be making to my channel in this coming year. You see, currently YouTube is going through a major shakeup right now, and as a result of it, a whole lot of us YouTubers are kind of being caught in the crossfire. Basically, a bunch of big advertisers, like Pepsi for example, have pulled out of YouTube because of questionable content. Now when they first pulled out, it seemed to be because of videos like ISIS beheading videos, or like white nationalist recruitment videos. But lately it's become pretty clear that for some content creators like myself, who deal in extreme content like horror movies, we're all finding ourselves being thrown under the bus too because we deal with non-family friendly content. And because of this, ad revenue is at an all-time low. I have not seen this little return from my ad rates in a long time. We're talking ad rates from back when I had like 100 subscribers or less. And because I want to keep doing this channel, that means I'm gonna have to find some alternative revenue sources. Which means things like my Patreon is gonna be more important than ever now, so if you haven't subscribed to that but you've been thinking to, now would be the time. But one of the other things I'm gonna be doing now is I signed up for an Amazon Associate program. And basically what this allows me to do is this allows me to put links to Amazon products in my description of my videos. But only if the product is relevant to the video itself. So for example, if I review a movie, I could put an Amazon link to the movie in my description. And what this link does is twofold. It gives you all one source in which you can watch the movie for yourself if you want to, or buy the movie if you so choose. I'm going to be providing both the streaming links as well as the Blu-ray/DVD links. And if you actually choose to buy or rent the movie via those links, I get a kickback from it. It's only a tiny kickback, of course, but in these days of dropping ad rates, every little bit helps. Now, with all that being said, if any of you are concerned that this is going to somehow corrupt my opinion on these movies, that I'm going to have to somehow give a positive opinion on them all just so that you'll click the links and buy the movies, let's just say there's a reason I decided to announce that on this particular video. Because the movie we are about to talk about is none other than The Bye-Bye Man, and holy shit is this a fucking stinker. And I sincerely apologize for how long it's taken me to finally review this movie. I know a lot of you have been requesting it for months, but I missed it in theaters because I was really busy. And thankfully, or unthankfully, since I actually did have to watch the movie, it's now available on video, so I decided to check it out, and oh wow. Basically, The Bye-Bye Man is about these three college students who are being haunted by this one creature that they discover in this one cabinet in this house they bought. Well, they don't really discover the creature himself, but what they do discover is his name etched into a drawer. But the problem is, knowing the character's name and thinking about it is what causes him to appear. And it turns out he won't stop appearing until you eventually kill yourself. And he will do all sorts of things to get you to kill yourself, from making you hallucinate things, from making you paranoid, from making you overly anxious, to even making you feel extremely guilty by forcing you to pass it on by making you say the name to other people. Now right off the bat, if you're like me, you might notice a little problem with this. This makes the Bye-Bye Man a little too powerful. Like, so powerful to the point where there's not really a movie here because there really is no way out. Except for, of course, not thinking about the Bye-Bye Man, but he can literally force you to think about it, so then what's the point of the whole thinking about it thing? If he can force you to think about it, if he can force you to say it, if he can force you to do anything, then why is he doing anything? And therein lies the problem. Nothing in this movie has a rhyme or reason. Yeah, there's really no sugarcoating it. The Bye-Bye Man is a textbook example of everything that could possibly go wrong with a horror movie ever. Its leads are a couple of cardboard cutout teenagers that have this kind of like forced camaraderie that's supposed to endear you to them, but it's so fake and forced that it just makes you really want to see them die. And none of them can make a smart decision if their life depended on it, and it does because it's a horror movie. The villain in question, the Bye-Bye Man, has one of the most laughable names of any horror villain I could possibly think of, but more than that, he's very ill-defined in this movie. Why does he have a coin? Why does he have a dog? What's with the train? Why does he make people hallucinate? Why does he do anything? And that's not to say I wanted the movie to over-explain things, but really, is it too much to ask to establish a rule set for your movie? Because that's one of the big things that separates this movie from like a Nightmare on Elm Street or an It Follows or a Babadook, is that all three of those monsters and those creatures have specific rule sets. Freddy Krueger can only affect you in your dreams, but you can pull him out of the dreams if you can grab him while you wake up. The It Follows monster will follow you until you pass the curse on, and then it will follow that person until that person dies, and it will come back to you. But with the Bye-Bye Man, his rules are extremely vague. The only consistency is that you can't think about him. And you know what's really annoying? The Bye-Bye Man is actually based on a quote-unquote real urban legend that actually has a mythology and backstory. It even has a rule set, none of which is explored at all in the film. And believe me, I'll talk more about that when we get to the spoilers, because it really pissed me off to find out how much of a missed opportunity this movie was. But yeah, this movie is just bad in all the wrong ways. Like, most of the scares aren't even scary, they're unintentionally hilarious. Like, every time a character starts screaming at another character, like, don't tell them the name, don't tell them the name, did you tell them the name? I can't help but sit there and laugh because I'm sitting there going, the name is the Bye-Bye Man. It's the most redonkulous name possible. In fact, the only way I probably would have taken it seriously if instead of college students, it was actually kids. Because if you had a bunch of kids that were trying not to think about this thing, the Bye-Bye Man, then it would seem less silly that he was called the Bye-Bye Man. But because it's a bunch of grown-ass adults sitting there going, don't say the Bye-Bye Man, I was just sitting there laughing my ass off going like, yeah, comedy of the year. So in a sense, I guess I would say that is this movie's one redeeming value. It is so bad, it is unintentionally hilarious. Which means, unlike Abattoir, I might still recommend this movie on some level, but overall, this movie is bad, guys. And I know you all already knew that, because that's why you all recommended this to me, because you all wanted to see me suffer. And good on you, my friends, because suffer I did in between a whole bunch of unintentional fits of laughter. Anyway, my fellow Gorehounds, if for whatever reason you want to check out the Bye-Bye Man, be sure to click the link in my description below and check out the movie for yourself. Though if you're not an Amazon fan, I'm pretty sure you can find it on other platforms like iTunes, so check it out there too. And with that all said, my fellow Gorehounds, let us move on to the spoilers. Alrighty then, so the Bye-Bye Man actually opens up in the 1960s. And in the opening scene, we watch as this one news reporter, but we don't actually know he's a news reporter at the time. We learn about that later in the movie. He goes on this shooting rampage and basically shoots and kills about 8 people, all the while shouting, "Did you tell anyone else the name? Did you tell anyone else the name?" And I gotta say, because you're going into this movie knowing it's called the Bye-Bye Man and that's the thing you're not supposed to think or tell anyone about, almost immediately in the opening scene, I started laughing my ass off because that is just fucking ridiculous. Did you tell anyone? Did you tell anyone the name? No, I didn't tell anyone about the doo-doo head. God damn it. This movie's so bad. From there, we cut to the present, in which 3 college students are buying this house so they can live in it off campus while they do their college stuff. And within this house, in the basement, they find this one drawer that has its own music sting, so you know it's ominous. Then the college students decide to christen their new house by throwing a party, and they invite this one psychic girl over, as well as the main character, who's basically our main final guy's big brother. So they're at this party, there's a whole lot of fake, forced camaraderie going on here, and then the big brother's little girl wanders upstairs and finds that drawer. And below the drawer, there is this one gold coin that she picks up and puts on top of it. And this is supposed to be our first instance of, ooh, the Bye-Bye Man, he's here. And oh yeah, throughout this whole movie, there's this one coat rack in the corner that's supposed to vaguely look like the Bye-Bye Man. To the point where I'm sitting there watching the movie, and about the 5th time he comes running out of the actual coat hanger, I'm sitting there going, why don't you just take the coat hanger down? Like, obviously it wouldn't stop the Bye-Bye Man from chasing you, but at least he could stop using that tactic over and over again. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The little girl goes downstairs and tells her uncle about the gold coin. He goes upstairs and finds the gold coin and then puts it inside the drawer, but then it falls out of the drawer. He takes the drawer out to find the hole in it, and he ends up finding this piece of paper on the bottom of the drawer with "don't say it, don't think it, don't do it" written on it over and over again. But I gotta be honest, the only way I know that's what it says is because that's what he reads out loud, whereas I'm sitting there looking at the paper going, how can you read any of that? It just looks like gibberish. But anyway, he removes the paper, but then carved into the bottom of the drawer is the Bye-Bye Man. And this is the thing that kicks off the whole series of events. Had he just not opened that drawer, everything would have been fine. So he goes downstairs, the party dies down, and the brother goes home with his daughter. And at this point, all that's left in the house is the 3 college students and the psychic chick. But the main character don't believe in this psychic nonsense, so they decide to hold a seance to prove to him that she's legit. But the seance goes horribly wrong because she sees the Bye-Bye Man and says his name out loud. And as a result of this, all 4 of them are now officially fucked. They all start experiencing these intense hallucinations. The main character keeps seeing his girlfriend cheating on him with the other roommate. The girlfriend character comes down with this wicked cold that seems to have no rhyme or reason and seems to make her just freezing at all times. The roommate character starts experiencing extreme aggression and he keeps seeing like maggots coming out of girls' hair and shit. And then they all start conducting their own investigations into this Bye-Bye Man thing. The main character goes to the library and finds out that all the records records of this thing called the Bye-Bye Man have been scraped from the archives. And it seems to all trace to this one news story about this teenager who killed his family and said the Bye-Bye Man made him do it. And we find out that the beginning of the movie, the thing that was set in the 1960s, was actually the journalist who wrote that story about the teenager killing everyone he told about the Bye-Bye Man. And the girlfriend finds out the drawer they found in the basement actually came from that journalist's house. And as you can probably guess, everything plays out kind of horror movie 101. Oh no, we're infected with this thing. Oh, this might be our way out. Oops, it doesn't work. Oh no, now everyone's dead. What do I do? And while there's nothing wrong with that generic structure, it doesn't really do anything to elevate itself beyond just a corporate product. Jump scares left and right, a whole bunch of boring stuff, a CGI dog for no apparent reason. Yeah, in this movie, the Bye-Bye Man seems to be this pale guy in this long coat with this fur hood. He carries around a gold coin for no apparent reason, and he has this weird demon dog that follows him around and eats the victims. And it's kind of vaguely hinted at that when the dog howls or scratches at the door, that means the Bye-Bye Man is present. And for whatever reason, there seems to be this motif of trains that doesn't really go anywhere. The main character keeps hallucinating trains, and at first I thought this was tied into how his parents died pre the movie, but all his hallucinations seem to involve him and his friends getting hit by trains. And at one point, the psychic chick is killed by a train, but she doesn't see it because she's hallucinating a car being wrecked right outside the train track. I just don't know, it feels like there's this weird train imagery for no real reason that isn't explained at all in the movie. So strap in, here is what the original mythology behind the Bye-Bye Man was. The Bye-Bye Man was a serial killer who traveled by train to kill people in various towns. And the Bye-Bye Man's only companion is a dog composed of the body parts of his victims. So that's why there's a lot of train imagery, that's why there's a gold coin, because trains, and that's why there's a dog in this movie. Now as far as the whole don't say it, don't think it thing, that's because the Bye-Bye Man is telepathic. So if you say or think his name, he will hear you and he will appear. Now one of the big differences between the legend of the Bye-Bye Man and the movie The Bye-Bye Man is that in the legend he can't make you hallucinate. He can only do some things like mimic other people's voices. It's so frustrating because he could have just took that core story and adapted that to the movie and made an amazing horror movie. Would it have been as good as A Nightmare on Elm Street or Candyman? No, but at least could have tried. And goddammit, that's what I want. I want horror movies that try, not cookie-cutter corporate products like this bullshit. Anyway, my fellow gorehounds, if you would like to know how the Bye-Bye Man ends, you're gonna have to watch it for yourself. But trust me, based on this review, you can probably surmise how it ends. And with that all said, my fellow gorehounds, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. Check out my Patreon link at the end of this video if you haven't checked it out already. And as I always say, my fellow gorehounds, peace out, and I'll catch y'all later.